Ever feel like you're just juggling way too many things, constantly switching tasks, wishing you could just cut through all that noise and focus on what really matters?
Oh, absolutely. That feeling of being spread too thin.
Exactly. You want to be effective, you want to be efficient, well-informed, but without feeling totally snowed under.
Right.
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into a method that's really designed to bring some clarity and flow back into your work. Kanban.
Kanban. Yeah, it sounds a bit technical,
It
maybe.
can sound technical, yeah, but it's actually a surprisingly flexible and honestly practical approach.
Mm.
It can really transform how anyone manages tasks and projects.
Mm.
At its heart, Kanban's about visually organizing your work, being smart about limiting how much you tackle at once, and making sure things actually move smoothly from, idea to done.
Getting things finished.
Getting things finished. So we're going to explore its really quite unexpected origins, walk through the core ideas, and see why it's become such a go-to tool everywhere from software development to marketing.
It's pretty versatile.
It really is. Get ready for maybe a new perspective on productivity.
Okay.
So let's kick things off. What exactly is Kanban at its core?
Well, fundamentally, Kanban is an agile workflow method. And agile just means, iterative, flexible, focusing on collaboration and adapting as you go.
Okay.
Its main focus is on visualizing your work and then continuously improving the flow of that work, making the process visible, basically, and then making it better.
Right. Visibility and flow. And the origin story is fascinating. It's not some recent tech invention, is it?
Not at all.
Mm.
That's what's so cool about it. It actually started out Toyota. We're talking the 1940s.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was part of their just-in-time manufacturing system. Kanban, in Japanese, literally means signal card.
Signal card.
Exactly. Workers used these physical cards to signal when they needed more parts on the assembly line. It ensured production matched demand precisely, cutting down waste.
So, okay, signal cards on a Toyota factory floor. How does that translate to, say, managing a marketing campaign or a software project today? That seems like a big jump.
It does, but the principle is the same. It's this pull-based idea.
Mm.
In knowledge work, your tasks become like those parts represented as cards on a board.
Mm-hmm.
And you only pull a new task into progress when you actually have the capacity for it, instead of work being pushed onto you whether you're ready or not.
Ah, okay, so you pull, not push. And the visual part, the board, that's crucial.
Absolutely central. Teams use a Kanban board, could be a physical whiteboard, could be digital software with columns for each stage of the work.
Right.
Like one guide puts it, the board visualizes work, limits work in progress, WIP, and maximizes efficiency or flow.
WIP, work in progress. We'll come back to that.
Definitely. So cards move across the board, usually left to right, maybe to do, in progress, review, done, something like that.
Okay.
And that transparency is key. Everyone sees everything, what's being worked on, who's doing it, and really importantly, where things might be getting stuck.
Bottlenecks.
Exactly. It helps create a steady, continuous flow rather than working in big, chunky batches.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. This core idea in Kanban. Limiting the number of tasks you have in progress actually helps you get more done. That sounds backwards. How does that work?
It does sound paradoxical, doesn't it? But limiting work in progress WIP is probably the defining practice of Kanban.
Okay.
It forces teams, and individuals really, to focus on finishing things before starting new ones, instead of spreading your attention thinly across, 10 different tasks.
Right, the multitasking trap.
Exactly. But it's more than just individual focus. Limiting WIP exposes the bottlenecks in the whole system. If a column is full, you can't add more. You have to ask, why isn't this stuff moving forward?
Ah, so it surfaces the problems in the flow itself.
Precisely. It
Right.
forces you to address the friction points systemically, not just, telling people to work harder.
So practically, how do teams enforce these WIP limits? Is it just an agreement?
It starts as an agreement, yeah. Each column that represents active work, like in progress or review, gets a number, a maximum number of cards allowed in that column at any one time. And if that column hits its limit, it's full. You can't pull new work into it until something moves out.
So the rule is strict.
It needs to be to work effectively. This directly prevents that costly context switching and immediately flags where work is piling up. Atlassian, the Jira folks, they really emphasize setting WIP limits to avoid overburdening and maintain a steady workflow. It optimizes how you use resources.
Makes sense. But how do you know if it's actually working? How do you measure if your flow is improving?
Good question. That's where metrics become really important in Kanban. It's not just about the board.
Right.
Teams use visual metrics. things like cumulative flow diagrams, which sound complex, but they basically show how much work is in each stage over time. You can see if work is flowing smoothly or piling up.
Like a traffic map for your work?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Or control charts, which track how long tasks take to complete, helping you see if your process is predictable or erratic.
Okay.
And the two key metrics are usually cycle time, how long a task takes from starting it to finishing it, and throughput, how many tasks you complete, say, per week.
Got it. Cycle time and throughput.
Tracking those helps you spot delays, experiment with changes like adjusting WIP limits, and see if things actually improve.
So it's data-driven improvement.
Exactly. And all this ties into the core Kanban principles. Visualize the workflow, limit WIP, measure and manage flow, make your policies explicit like what done means, and improve collaboratively as a team.
That's a solid foundation. Now, lots of people hear Agile and they immediately think of Scrum.
Right, the other big player.
Yeah. How does Kanban stack up against Scrum? Why choose one over the other? They seem quite different.
They are quite different, especially in their structure and cadence. Scrum is built around fixed-length iterations called sprints, usually 2 to 4 weeks long.
Right, the sprint cycle.
And it has defined roles, product owner, a Scrum master. Plus, it mandates specific meetings or ceremonies. Planning, daily stand-ups, reviews, retrospectives. It's fairly prescriptive.
Very structured.
Very. You commit to a batch of work for the sprint, you do it, you review it. Kanban, on the other hand, much more fluid.
How so?
No required roles, no fixed sprints or iterations, no mandatory meetings, though teams often adopt things like stand-ups anyway.
Interesting.
The key is that teams continuously pull work from the backlog as they have capacity. Work flows steadily, and you can release it whenever it's ready. No waiting for the end of a sprint.
More of a continuous flow model.
Exactly. Like Atlassian puts it, Kanban is about visualizing work, limiting WIP, maximizing flow. Scrum is about committing to increments of work in fixed sprints.
So it's not that one is inherently better. It just depends on the situation.
Precisely. It's about context.
Yeah.
Scrum can work really well when you need that regular cadence, those commitment points, the formal reviews, maybe for predictable product development cycles.
Okay.
Kanban really shines when work is more unpredictable, or when priorities can change quickly, or when you need maximum flexibility. Since support teams, operations, maybe some marketing contexts.
Right, where requests pop up all the time.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you often see teams blending them. Scrumban, they sometimes call it. Using maybe Scrum's planning approach, but managing the daily work visually with a Kanban board and flow principles.
Best of both worlds, maybe?
Could be. If your team deals with lots of reactive tasks, support tickets, urgent requests, games, Kanban helps manage that flow without the overhead of formal sprint planning. Atlassian notes it's great for teams that have lots of incoming requests that vary in priority and size.
But if you have a hard deadline,
Then Scrum's commitment structure might be more appropriate. But really, the focus should be on the underlying Agile principles, transparency, feedback, continuous improvement, not just the label. Both aim to deliver value iteratively. Kanban's just less prescriptive about how you get there.
makes sense. Let's get practical then. Talk about product managers. How do they actually use Kanban to keep, say, feature development moving? What does that look like?
Okay, yeah. Product teams find it really useful. They'll typically have a prioritized backlog column on their board.
The list of potential features.
Right. And when the development team finishes a task
Yeah.
and has capacity, they just pull the next highest priority item from the backlog into in progress or developing
So the priority can shift easily.
very easily. If a critical bug pops up or a sudden market opportunity arises, that card can jump to the top of the backlog and get pulled next. No need to wait for a new sprint to start.
More responsive.
Definitely. A typical board might look like backlog, ready for dev, developing, key testing, ready for release, done. Something along those lines. Each card is a user story, a feature, a bug fix.
Okay.
And when a card hits done, it could potentially be released almost immediately. This really supports continuous delivery, getting value out to users faster. It fits nicely with DevOps practices too.
And tracking those metrics we talked about, cycle time.
Yeah, product managers love that.
Yeah.
Tracking cycle time gives them a much better sense of predictability. How long does a typical feature actually take? The board becomes that single source of truth for everyone, devs, product, QA, even stakeholders.
Okay, cool. But it's not just for software, right? You mentioned marketing teams use it too. How does that work? Their work can be pretty different.
Absolutely. Marketing teams have really embraced Kanban. It helps manage content pipelines, campaigns, events, all sorts of operational stuff.
Interesting.
Agile Sherpas, they're big in agile marketing. They emphasize how Kanban helps marketers limit that work in progress, improve flow, and actually measure their process, which can be tough in marketing sometimes.
Yeah, marketing can feel chaotic.
It can. So a marketing board might have columns like ideas, writing, design, review, scheduled, published, a blog post, an ad campaign, a social media graphic. They all move across the board as cards.
Okay.
And again, those WIP limits are key. Maybe only 3 blog posts in writing at once. It forces the team to finish things before grabbing the next shiny new idea.
Fights that shiny object syndrome.
Exactly, leading to higher throughput of completed marketing assets, not just a pile of half-finished drafts.
That visual aspect must be huge for coordination, too. Between writers, designers, maybe sales. Massive boon. Everyone sees the status at a glance. Agile Sherpas points out it leads to better alignment, awareness, collaboration, and efficiency, especially if teams are remote. The board is the central hub,
Right.
and it encourages data-driven decisions. How long does stuff sit in review? How many campaigns did we actually launch last month? It helps move marketing away from constant crisis mode towards a more predictable flow.
That sounds incredibly valuable. Okay, so if someone listening is thinking, all right, I want to try this, what are the key concepts beyond just the board and WIP limits that they really need to grasp?
Good question. Beyond visualizing and limiting WIP, a few things are crucial. First, flow management. Actively monitoring that flow, watching cycle time and throughput, and crucially, tackling impediments quickly when things get stuck. Don't let blockers linger.
Be proactive about the flow.
Exactly. Then think about continuous delivery and feedback. Kanban encourages delivering value as soon as it's ready, not batching it up, and using the feedback from those deliveries to adapt and learn.
Constant learning cycle. Right. And finally, explicit policies, making the rules of the game clear. What does done mean for this column? When can we pull new work? Having these policies written down and agreed upon prevents confusion.
Makes sense. Clear rules.
And remember, Kanban is fundamentally about continuous improvement. It's flexible. You don't need the perfect setup on day one. Start where you are, make things visible, and then evolve the process collaboratively.
Start simple and improve. I like that. What about tools? You need fancy software? Or can you literally just start with a whiteboard?
You absolutely can start with a whiteboard and sticky notes. It's a fantastic way to begin. Very tactile, very visible if your team is co-located.
Simple is good.
Simple is often best to start.
Yeah.
But yeah, for many teams, especially remote or larger ones, digital tools are common and really helpful. Trello is super popular.
Yeah, Trello. Very visual.
Incredibly simple, visual, great for non-technical teams, boards, lists, cards, drag and drop, really easy to get started.
Okay. What else?
For teams needing more features, maybe more technical integrations or detailed reporting, Jira is a big one. It supports WIP limits explicitly, has powerful backlog management, lots of analytics.
Right. Jira is common in software teams.
Very. And you might even see organizations using both maybe Trello for high-level marketing plans and Jira for the detailed development work.
A mix and match approach.
Totally viable. Other tools like Asana, Airtable, Monday.com, ClickUp, they all offer Kanban-style views, often alongside other project management features. Even Microsoft Planner or Google's Kanban have Kanban boards.
Lots of options.
Loads. The key things to look for are always that visual board, columns, cards, easy movement, and crucially, the ability to configure and visualize those WIP limits.
Got it. The core features matter more than the specific tool.
Exactly. Choose the tool that fits your team's needs and complexity.
So let's wrap this up. What does this all mean for you listening?
The real power of Kanban seems to be in its elegant simplicity, doesn't it? It really is. Visualize your work, limit how much you're juggling at once, and focus on improving the flow.
Right.
And if we zoom out, when teams embrace these Kanban principles, use the right tools for them, what they typically see is faster delivery, fewer things getting stuck, and just generally better collaboration and less stress.
Less chaos.
Less chaos, definitely. It helps managers, whether in product or marketing or elsewhere, guide their projects predictably from idea to actual completion, delivering value without that constant feeling of being overloaded.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you, our listener, to maybe chew on. What if you apply just that one principle limiting work in progress to just one area of your personal life this week?
Interesting question.
Yeah, maybe your email inbox. Don't open a new one until you've dealt with the current one. Or your to-do list, focus on finishing one or two things before adding more. Or even chores around the house.
Focus on finish.
Focus on finish.
What might you discover about your own personal flow and efficiency? Could focusing on completing fewer things at once actually help you achieve more? And maybe feel a bit less overwhelmed in the process? Something to think about.
If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and share it, with others who might benefit too. To learn more about product management and digital marketing, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.